last week, we talked about Gen Z not knowing what life was like before cell phones and the internet. All right, so this all started after a Gen Z comedian, Sarah Edelman, asked the question on TikTok. Take a look.
Hey, this is a genuine question to, like, older people. What did you do before you could look something up? Like, if you saw someone and you were like, oh, they remind me of that actor. What was that? What's his name? Like, and you couldn't, and none of your friends knew, would you go to a library? Okay, without Google Maps, like, I know that there was MapQuest, but before that, like, genuinely, what would you do?
Well, I had to tell Sarah Edelman that we did not have Google, we had encyclopedias. And if the encyclopedias didn't work, you called your Aunt Gloria. That was Alexis and Siri. And we did not have GPS, we had maps. Okay, we had, remember you had your uncle, he had all the maps in the glove compartment. Or some people, they would spread the maps out before they even went somewhere, and you had to look. But so many of you wanted to join in on the conversation. Y'all flooded the Sherri Show TV with comments. So here's what some viewers remember. The real Kevy Kev says, we had to memorize everybody's phone numbers. That's right, we did not have, you couldn't store numbers in our phones. If you lost your number, it was just like, there was no iCloud anything at all if you lost the phone number. What else did we do? If the charger went down, you was just out of luck. There was no iCloud in anything. The only thing in the clouds was the angels, that was it. And now, now parents, we got those tracking features on our kids' phones that we can know where they are. We didn't have trackers back then. You know what we did? We just told our mamas wherever we were going that the phone was disconnected and they couldn't reach us. And then we was in places that would have put us on milk cartons. That's what we was. I remember I used to tell my mother that I had to babysit and she wanted their phone number, but I would tell her that the people I was babysitting, I would say that the phone was disconnected, and I would go straight to the club. Oh my goodness. I hid my clothes in the bushes next to the laundry room, and I would put on my LaToya Jackson headband. Okay? That's what I did. I had my LaToya Jackson headband, and I would go to the club and have fun. Then my girlfriends would drop me off. I would go get my clothes out of the bushes and change and go upstairs. And you know what the tracking feature was? That one night I went to get my clothes, and they was not there. And my mother was standing there going, where you been all night? That was it. Now, KVet22 says we had to keep quarters on deck for payphones. Okay, y'all remember payphones? And we didn't use the payphone. We didn't have Clorox wipes to use on the payphones. That's how you developed your immune system, was them daggone. Because you didn't know who used the payphone before you. You just took a chance. And Leanie Alexia says, making a collect call and using the state your name to quickly say, Mom, please pick me up at the mall, or when you're ready, I don't have quarters for the payphone. You remember when the operator, she would say, will you accept this collect call? And you had like 5 seconds to say quickly, hey, Mom, I ain't got no more money because I bought orange Julius in the sweater. I'm gonna see you in a minute, okay, bye? And if they didn't hear, you had to call back, collect, and say it all over again fast. And then Love Always Shy wrote, let's not forget about microfiche. Now, microfiche, if you don't remember, that's where you could go to the library. If you had to do a report and it had to come from old newspaper articles, they shrunk it down and they put it on these tiny pieces of film that you had to put into a machine. And you had to sign out the microfiche and bring it back, because if you didn't bring it back, they wouldn't give you your ID if you didn't bring it back. And so, my gosh, I was just remembering all of this other stuff. Our TVs, we never had HD. We had antennas on the TV. And remember, even if the TV had bad reception, you had to have that antenna. You know how you fix the reception? Nowadays, you call Spectrum to walk you through when you have a bad TV service. You know what fixed the reception? Your Uncle Earl would go to the TV and move it, and something about his body, if he moved away, the TV would mess up, but if he moved this way, it would fix. And there was always, Thank you. It was always a fork that was stuck in the antenna because the antenna would break off. And we only got 4 channels. So if the dial fell off the TV, we used pliers to turn the doggone. And see, that's why my generation got carpal tunnel to this day. I remember, my gosh, all the young people like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. No, but it wasn't. We didn't have TVs in every room. It was one TV, and that was in the living room. And then sometimes it were 2 because the old TV would die, and they would just set it on top of the big TV. And sometimes you would turn the volume down on the top TV and you use the speakers from the bottom TV. And then, here's the thing, now people have insomnia. They can't sleep, but back then, if you couldn't sleep, too bad, because those TV stations would sign off at 10 o'clock. Once they played that national anthem, it was a wrap on the TV show. And it was just snow on the TV for the rest of the night. No infomercials. And oh my God, we didn't have DVRs. You had to be home to watch your shows. So if you missed it, you just missed it. Everybody be talking about at work what happened on Dallas or Knots Landing, and you be left out of the conversation, okay? What's some other stuff? Oh, Spotify. We didn't have Spotify or Pandora. If it was a song you liked, you had to wait for it to come on the radio. And you would record it on a boombox. You had a boombox. And y'all remember, or it was like a little Sony cassette player you had there, and you had to press play. When you heard the song, you had to run and press play and record at the same time. And sometimes the buttons would stick. Then you only had 1/4 of the song. You had a whole cassette, a box of cassette tapes full of your jams, and then you remember you had a cassette tape, and the tape would come all out, the thing, and you had to painstakingly take your finger and rewind it back then. So y'all kids make fun of everything that we went through, but all that stuff we did, it built character. That's what I say. Oh my God! Memory lane, man.